Hi friends! Welcome to Scribbles from Emily. I'm Emily and today I'm gonna show you my goal setting and planning system and how I set up my bullet journal. I don't know about you, but I am enjoying a gentle January, kind of a slow roll into the new year. It seems like on Instagram I'm seeing everybody's got their word of the year and their big goals and their stuff going on. I'm taking it a little bit slower this year, so no pressure if you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all the New Year's, new you kind of messaging. It's okay to take it slow, but I hope that in watching this video you'll take away some practical planning tips and ideas to incorporate into your routine to have a really fantastic year with more joy and purpose and direction in your year, so you can end the year feeling like 2020 was your best year yet. Let's get into that. I have tried a lot of planners and goal setting systems out there, but I always kind of found I had the same problems. First, with my New Year's goals, I would usually forget about them at some point in the year. Sometimes my goals just weren't relevant for the whole year, so I would set goals in January and then the year would take a totally different turn and they no longer applied. And then most planners either didn't have enough room to write in, or there were a bunch of features I didn't use, and so it just felt like a waste, and some of them can be really expensive. I just couldn't find a planner that really fit my needs, and so I created my own system. I needed something that was going to be flexible, that I could switch up as I needed, but also keep me on track with my goals and be able to move as events in life happened, like having a baby, moving across the country, etc. And I also needed it to be portable. I wanted something small that I could easily carry around and stick in my diaper bag. With all the different planners and goal setting techniques I've tried, this system that I've kind of honed and tweaked over the last 5-8 years or so, that I've been able to accomplish about 90 to 99% of my goals consistently every year. So what you'll need is a notebook and a pen and about 15 minutes once a week. Let's talk about notebooks. I used to swear by these. It is a little bit bigger, as you can see. This is the Attribution, I don't know how to pronounce this. Attribution, it's German, 1917. Dot journal. So the pages are dots, and that creates like a kind of grid, which is great for the bullet journaling. I'll also include in the description below a link to a playlist of bullet journal videos that kind of walk through how to get started bullet journaling and some simple methods and layouts. But the nice thing about it is that there's no one way to do it. You can make up your own system that works for you, which is what I've done. So I love this size because it's nice and portable. I love having the elastic around it and the bookmarks inside. So I would look for those when you're looking for a bullet journal. I'll put a link to this one down below. I do love these, but they are pricey. So I just found this one on Amazon, which costs like under $10. I'll also put a link to this one, which comes in a lot of different colors. Just invest in getting nice pens. You will thank me for it later. First things first, we start with the big picture. Where do you want to be at the end of this year? What goals do you want to accomplish? I think it's helpful to break this out into category. You can break it out in different ways, but I tend to pick 10 categories or less. And the categories are things like spiritual, family, relationships or community, home, which would include like home improvement and that kind of thing, health, business/work, financial, growth, which includes more like personal growth, but you can kind of group that in with health. There's a few different ways you can do that, but come up with categories around your life that work for you and areas that you want to grow in. I'll list out my full list of categories in the blog post that I'll link down below. In my full list of different categories, I'll go through those and think about what I want to change in the next year, or what I want to improve on, or where I want to continue to grow. And I'll write down just a handful of those different goals in each category. Now, here's where you might be tempted to get overwhelmed when you see like 10 categories and like 3 things in each category. That's a lot. But we're not gonna work on all of the goals all the time, don't worry. As part of it, I also like to come up with a word of the year that helps guide overall the vision for it. Last year for 2019, I had the word slow and also grow. So kind of put together and made my own mantra of it's okay to grow slow. That helped me guide the goals that I set. So I didn't beat myself up if I didn't achieve goals, and I made sure to set realistic ones and take things slow and focus on being present and appreciating what I have and being grateful, being content and at peace with knowing I have enough resources, I have enough time, I have enough to do everything that God calls me to do. So those ideas and kind of words of the year, vision statements guided the goals that I put in each category overall. They might come to you before you do your categories or after. This year it's kind of coming after I put together my categories, which with it being 2020, as I pray and journal about words and phrases for the new year, are all things related to vision. So 2020, perfect vision. So I'm getting words like focus and vision is one, a vision for the next decade, a vision for our family, where I want our marriage to be, where I want my work to be, and focus on the things that are most important. So I'm using those to kind of pull down and narrow my goals in those categories too, and those will also work to shape each season, which is the next step. So we have our main bucket, 10 bucket categories, our word of the year, then we have seasons. So I think there's a lot of value in doing a refresh each season, so you can have a word or vision for the first season of the year, and that could change for the next season. A season for me is usually right around 3 months. I usually feel it, like I just feel the sense of restlessness right about the time a new season is going to begin. And that's the perfect time to then go back to my big bucket categories, rethink about those, think about what things God is leading me to focus on in the coming year, and pick out a few of those to really focus on in this season. For example, in this first season of the year, I'm really feeling that God wants me to focus on my marriage relationship and then my business and career. So those are 2 areas that I'm really like drilling down in and focusing on, which means I'm not doing as much like on our house right now. So that helps me kind of narrow down and focus and say yes to the right things and no to things that aren't necessarily wrong, but not right for this season of life. To review, we've got our bucket categories for the whole year, our word of the season, our focus for the season on particular items in those bucket categories. Now we're ready to go month by month. That's where your journal comes in. I will create, and I'll show you some close-ups in here, a spread for each month, sometimes with a picture on the first page, sometimes not, but I lay it out this way. So I have my monthly goals here. Here's my categories. I had 8 categories last year, which are creativity and confidence, health, home, finances, relationships, spiritual, work, and fun. My weekly goals are here. So I have some weekly goals here that I can cross off, and then, or like color in the boxes if you want to do it that way, which I have at some points. I'll show you an example of that too. And then I have blog posts that I'm listing, artist dates, which I try to do weekly, items I'm doing for self-care, blog post ideas. I just kind of dumped here a furniture shopping list because last fall when we were moving, getting settled into our new home was a high priority. So that goes on here. This is super flexible. You can do a mood chart tracker. You could do a water intake tracker. You could track your workouts. You could do all kinds of different stuff. But this is monthly. This is the weekly. But then you're also each week going to make a spread for that week. And then this breaks it down and has it like front and center. So each week when you open it up, you see this. So I have like this week, my little calendar here. I circle the dates where I have something going on. I list that so I can see it at a glance. And then these are the goals and tasks for that week that are the same as what's on here. And any extra stuff that comes up, I can put that here. And then I will break that down for each day. So I just have these little sections for each day with my tasks and things that I need to do that are breaking down these, which of course are building up to these, which build up to these, which build up to our overall goals for the year. So, hope that makes sense. But basically your year goals are broken down per season, per month, per week, and then per day. And we can track all of that in our bullet journal so we stay on track. So each day I've got my daily things I need to do, like doing my devotions, unpacking, because that was a big thing, laundry, calling people, all those little tasks I can fill in here. And this is pretty flexible because I only write out one day at a time. So if I need more space, let me find a long day. This is longer. So this day I needed a little bit more space, so I only have 3 days on this page, which is usually about what I end up with. About 3 days on one page, 3 days on the next page. And then Sunday I usually include in Saturday's section, or I don't really have tasks for Sundays since that's more my day of rest. Because it's small and portable, I can easily carry it with me. Here's my New Year's goals for last year. Then anytime you need to do a brain dump or a brainstorm session for anything, you can do it right in here. And you have everything in one notebook instead of having separate notebooks for all the different things. But so that you can find it again, you can keep an index on the first few pages. So like I have on page 66, I know my 2019 resolutions from last year are right there. So I can easily, quickly refer to those again. Oh, here's an example of a different weekly layout where I have like, I'm tracking my blog posts and videos, my email subscriptions, opt-ins I've created, my running. I didn't run enough in November, clearly. Books I've read, and these are my exercise, self-care, and writing goals. I've colored in the days that I've done them. You can see here, like, all the days of the month are written out. Really tiny. How I'll maintain this system then is every Sunday afternoon, at some point after church, I sit down with my bullet journal and my pen and I spend 15 minutes to create my weekly spread, which could involve, it does involve, going back to the month, looking at what my overall goals for the month were, breaking down what things I'm going to work on this week, looking at my calendar to see what I have going on this week, tasks that I need to do, things like my self-care, writing, exercise, and I write just this one page out, and it gives me a one-page look at what's going on this week, what I'm focusing on, and I know that everything I'm working on this week is building up towards those big goals I have for the year. You can also use this page to write affirmations if you want to repeat those every day. You can write a verse of the week or something like that on here. It's pretty flexible. Also, I don't worry about making mine look pretty. Some people really go all out with their bullet journal. You can definitely do that if that is your thing. It's not really my thing. The first Sunday of each month is when I will go through and make that monthly, my stomach just growled really loud, is when I'll go through and make this monthly spread and then follow it up with the weekly one. So it takes a couple more minutes the first Sunday of every month. Maybe for you, Saturday is a better day, but whatever it is, put it on your phone calendar so that you have that time blocked out to do your weekly planning. Then it's really helpful to have this spread so I can take it and sit down with Brian and we can go through our week and talk about what we have going on. I know that was a lot, I feel like. I'll try to include some more pictures and links in the description down below about bullet journaling and my favorite products. I wrote a long blog post about this a couple years ago, which I'll also link to down below. That might help clarify some things. If you have any questions about how it works, leave them in the comments down below. If you have a system that you really love, I would love to hear about it too. So tell me about that down below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more.